If only Ruth knew that the worst moment of her life wouldn't be her mother's death. But the message that came after. Ruth was standing frozen beside their mother's open casket when their phone vibrates again and again, but she ignores. Then a voice note from her boss Mr. Tony arrives. Every word cuts deep. Mr. Tony calmly threatens termination if Ruth don't report to work immediately. She'll lose her job. No sympathy. No pause. Just a deadline. Mr. Tony ended the voice note with, "Family comes second to responsibility." Ruth was confused and in tears. Then she recalled when she was desperately searching for a job. She remembered the day her boss Mr. Tony hired her when no one else would. Recalls being hired when they were desperate. Their mother was sick. Bills were crushing. The boss appeared generous, offering stability when no one else would. The job paid for the mother's medication. She said to herself this job wasn't just employment. It was survival. Ruth, haunted by guilt with no option, left the funeral home early before the prayers began. As she rushed through traffic, a message came in from Helen, a coworker she barely spoke to. "He did this to me too," it read. "My dad's burial." Same threat. That was the moment Ruth realized this wasn't cruelty, it was routine. If only she had known earlier. Ruth arrives late to work, dressed in black. The HR calls Ruth in and said she's emotionally unstable and unprofessional. The HR immediately issued her a warning email. On that same day of her mother's burial, Mike, the company's janitor, stopped Ruth as she was leaving. He quietly gave Ruth names of people who used to work there and told her what happened after their losses: parents, spouses, children, they all disappeared. One name hit hard: she'd won Employee of the Year. Ruth reported everything to HR, but the HR smiled sympathetically and told her grief distorts memory. The HR said her boss meant well. That same week, the HR officer got promoted for defending Mr. Tony. That's when Ruth understood that nothing was broken, everything was working exactly as designed. Ruth's workload doubles overnight, deadlines became impossible, performance scores dropped without explanation, public criticism. Then an email of termination draft came, by mistake with Ruth's name on it. Ruth's co-workers realized the punishment has begun. They started whispering to her in hallways. One person secretly recorded a meeting and sent it to Ruth. That was the first real proof she has. Then she started digging old voice notes, messages she'd ignored before. She saw one message that ended with, "You owe this company your loyalty." She saved everything. A secret group chat of former employees, current staff, survivors was formed, and everyone poured in their stories with evidence multiplied. The company's database admin helped her build a spreadsheet of every punished employee had one thing in common. Recent grief. It wasn't random, it was policy. Then they leaked the file online that night. The evidence went live, comments exploded, hashtags trended, journalists called former employees for interview and they spoke up. The story escaped control. Mr. Tony froze on camera when he saw it. Sponsors pulled out, executives panicked and called Mr. Tony for board meeting, and he denied everything publicly, but the leaked audio proved he lied. HR documents surfaced. A directive showed HR was ordered to target grieving staff. It was intentional, systematic. The boss disappeared that night and they quietly removed him. He returned online, begging for sympathy. No one listened. The company fired him publicly. Ruth returned to the funeral home and finally mourns her mother in peace, this time without fear. If only they had known silence was the real policy. Moral. Cruelty doesn't survive because of monsters, it survives because ordinary people look away. Cruelty thrives not because of monsters, but because ordinary people look away.